today, welcome back to Pillar Sports. Welcome back to Pillar Sports. Welcome back to Pillar Sports. Today we are going to be talking about we are going to be talking about the preview of the big game. This is absolutely a massive game. This is absolutely a massive game for Manchester United. It's going to be. Sorry, I'm just trying to get myself together right now. I'm trying to get things all figured out right now. I'm just trying to get things all figured out. I hope you guys can hear me. I hope you guys can hear me right now because we are talking about Manchester United versus Nottingham Forest. Manchester United versus Nottingham Forest. This is the FA Cup fifth round game. It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a game that can either save the manager's job or a game that would absolutely or could absolutely make Ineos's decision to take or just look elsewhere when it comes to who is going to be the manager of Manchester United. So, kind of starting the game today, starting and kind of everything. Let's just look back a little bit about not so much months ago, but 30th of December last year. Um, Nottingham Forest we went to Nottingham Forest and we lost. Manchester United lost 2-1 to Nottingham Forest, which was a dreadful loss, honestly. It was, that kind of thing where my birthday was on the 29th of December and then you lose on the 30th, ruining my entire birthday. Yeah, it was a devastating loss, honestly, for me because I was starlet or someone that I really enjoyed when he was coming through the ranks of Manchester United. Um, Played really well in the game, and we also all know him as Rhythm is a Dancer, Anthony Alanga. He came through the game and he absolutely devastated us with his pace. Ortiz, thank you for the likes, man. I appreciate it. He devastated us with his pace. And yeah, things just it just went left from there. It just went left from there, but we will see how it goes. But yes, last game they absolutely won. They defeated us 2-1, and hopefully Manchester United can absolutely right the wrongs that they absolutely made in December. Ortiz, I'm definitely going to get to West Ham, so just bear with me. I just have to go through this, and then we'll go through West Ham. Okay, thank you. So yeah, so it's kind of starting this game. I have to absolutely point out that, and thanks for the likes, man. I appreciate it. I absolutely have to point out that Eric Ten Hag is in the hot seat. I understand how confident he is. I understand how calm he wants to portray. But whatever he likes or whatever it is or whether he like it or not, he is in the hot seat because Ineos are in town. Ineos never appointed Eric Ten Hag to be their manager. And if you have known or if you have been in a company that there has been a takeover, every single person is on edge because you could get fired like that. You could get fired in a blink of an eye. So he is in this audition period where you do not know or you do not understand or you do not know when the axe is going to come, when he's going to be taking off the job. He just needs to audition to make sure that they are aligned together. So that's the big thing, and that's one thing that he absolutely needs to do. If not, he can count his days as a Manchester United manager. So today or this game that is about to happen is going to be a very unique game for him. It's going to be his first um, truly must win game in my opinion, because I believe we have had must win games, but it wasn't like for him personally. It was for the club, where we needed to kind of get to the Champions League qualification or we needed to qualify for the next round of the Champions Leagues, and we never did. but this game is going to be a big game for him, absolutely. So yeah, that's one thing about the game that we absolutely need to kind of look at. Secondly, we are looking at somewhat a bad injury crisis we have. We already have Mason Mount out. We have Tyrell Malacia to honestly nowhere to be found. I do not even know if he's real, or I do not even know we actually bought Tyrell Malacia, but he is absolutely nowhere to be found based on his injuries. And so that's a problem. So we do not have a left back with Luke Shaw going out, which is which is crazy to me because he just got back from injury and now he's out again with injury. And that just shows that in the summer we absolutely need to do something. We absolutely need to go into the summer and find a reliable left back. I understand that Jeremy Frimpong might not be the guy, because he's not a left back, he's more of a wing back. And of course, Alfonso Davies is going to Real Madrid, whether Brian likes it or not. But we are looking at the situation where we absolutely need a left back. Ortiz says, what happened to Mason Mount? And that's a really good question. What happened to Mason Mount? Mason Mount is a midfielder that I absolutely believe that he's going to come good for Manchester United. But he wears the number 7 and he has hardly kicked the ball for Manchester United this season. That's how bad it has been. He has been injured for honestly 80% of the season. He has been injured. I think I can count in one hand how many matches Mason Mount has played. And he is still on 0 assists and 0 goals, if I'm not mistaken. So he has honestly been not the best transfer for Manchester United, but I still see him as someone that is going to come good. So of course we have yeah, he was on with West Ham. I know it's a problematic situation, but we have a long way to go because tomorrow, when I was watching the press conference of Eric Ten Hag, Fernandez is questionable to play tomorrow. I believe he's going to play because he is basically Captain America. He doesn't go injured or whatever. So knock on wood, he stays that way. But it's truly shocking to see, yeah, exactly. It's truly shocking to see that we do not have a replacement. The replacement we bought to absolutely help Fernandez in that particular role um, just has been injured. All right, just has been injured throughout the time. Ortiz says I forgot he was in Manchester United. I know that's how non how would I put it? What's the word for it? Non-existent he has been for Manchester United. Now, bear in mind, he is a good player. He is a good player. He was Chelsea's best player for 2 seasons in a row, so he definitely has something to offer. But I still understand. I do not have an idea on why he's still injured and what the injury was, or why didn't we find this injury before signing him? Those are the questions that we need to ask. Those are all the questions we need to ask. And if we did not ask those questions, someone needs to get fired. If those questions were not asked before he got signed and given the number 7 shirt, someone needs to get fired. And these are the simple things, these are the marginal gains that Sir Davis Browsford needs to come in and give us. Browsford needs to come in and give us, honestly. Not just so talking about the injuries now, we're looking at Luke Shaw out, we're looking at Martinez out, we're looking at Harry Maguire doubtful, we're looking at Rasmus out, we're looking at Fernandez out, or Fernandez in doubt. These are people that majority of those people, like of course Harry Maguire is not a first teamer, but we are looking at 4 first team players out. First 11, sorry. 4 of our first 11 out. I can count on one hand how many times Manchester United has absolutely fielded their best 11. I think it has only been 3 times. if I'm not mistaken, that we have been able to field our best 11. That's just ludicrous to me. It's just ludicrous. But what can I say? We have to kind of knuckle down and push to get the results that we need to get, because it's not going to be an excuse. It's not going to be an excuse next season. It's not at all. It's not going to be an excuse at all, because you have the money, you have the players. It's a squad. It's not a squad of 11 players. It's a squad of 22 with reserves. You understand? It's a squad of 22 with reserves. A sign of a good manager is what Johan Klopp was able to do with Liverpool. Liverpool had injuries from the top to the toe, from their head to their toes, in against Chelsea. But he brought in those 12-year-old kids from the academy. Now, and of course, I hope you guys understand that I am exaggerating their age. But he brought in 12-year-old kids to play against 1 billion pounds worth of players. And they defeated Chelsea. They defeated Chelsea. That's how crazy it is. That's how good of a manager Jurgen Klopp has been. Because he brought in these kids, and all the way to the academy, they understand this is how Johan Klopp plays. And this is how we need to learn how to play. If not, you do not get a chance to go into the first team. It's simple as that. And it was crystal. And when they came and they put players in, no one felt out of place. Not even one academy player felt out of place, because they knew exactly what to do, and they absolutely did it. They knew exactly what they needed to do, and they absolutely did it, and won the Carabao Cup. Now, I do not love Chelsea, but I despise Liverpool. I love their manager, because that's who I wanted to replace. To replace Mourinho, or what is his name? To replace David Moyes. That's who I wanted. I had said this to a lot of my friends in the pub and everything. Go get me that guy from Dortmund. That's how I want my team to play. But when it comes to, Ortiz just says, do you want Chelsea or Liverpool to win the Carabao Cup? I wanted Chelsea. I wanted Chelsea to win the cup. Because I do like Pochettino. I do like Pochettino. You understand me? I do like Pochettino, and I wanted Pochettino to win the cup and get a lifeline in Chelsea, because he could get fired. By the end of this season, he could get fired. Why am I even saying by the end of this season? By the end of this week, if they get knocked out from the FA Cup, he is going to get fired. It's as simple as that. If Pochettino loses against, I've forgotten who they're playing, but if Pochettino loses in the FA Cup and gets knocked out, he is going to get fired. That means you have basically lost the Carabao Cup and lost the opportunity to win the FA Cup in 1 week. You getting fired. It's as simple as that. And I don't want him to get fired, because I think he's still a good manager. He doesn't have the record of getting all the way and getting to the big honors. But the truth about it is, he is a good manager. He is a good manager. And so, if you have the opportunity to get him, I thought that was a good thing. So let me answer a little bit questions before we continue with the preview of Nottingham Forest versus Manchester United, 5th round FA Cup tie. Ortiz says, do you think West Ham is bad without Lucas Paquetá? I think David Moyes understands that Lucas Paquetá is his most creative player and most effective player. Well, no, let me not say most effective, because Bowen is their most effective, but I would say their most creative is Lucas Paquetá. If you notice, I always love pronouncing his name Luca Paquetá. But that's the thing about David Moyes. He doesn't have the greatest plan B. You understand? He knows how his team wants to play. He knows that he needs a creative spark in there for individual moments. He knows that his defense is going to always be strong. He's going to have a really good transition defense and a good rest defense. So that's David Moyes' idea. But then also he also understands that he needs a big striker up front. He needs someone that will score goals with at least one chance or two chances. So that's David Moyes for you. So it's quite sad to see that West Ham are not firing on all cylinders, because I was scared that West Ham will be doing better than Manchester United by this time of the season, and hopefully they are not. So let's keep it that way. Let's keep it that way. I hope I answered that question to you, Ortiz. Okay, now going into the next agenda of the preview, it is Marcus Rashford's woes. I've not seen a player that has frustrated me so much like Marcus Rashford. You're welcome, man. I've not seen a player that has frustrated me so much, with so much talent and so much opportunities riding for him like Marcus Rashford. If you guys did not know this, Nike has been cutting a lot, or let me not say cutting. There are a lot of superstars that have not renewed their contract with Nike, with their football shoe deals with Nike. The likes of Raheem Sterling, the likes of Jack Grealish, the likes of. But I want you guys to understand this. Ronaldo, of course, is a lifetime athlete with Nike. Kylian Mbappe is a lifetime athlete with Nike. And Marcus Rashford is a Nike athlete that they are renewing his contract. That is to tell you that this player has more than just the fame. He has, like, there are a lot of people that are banking on Marcus Rashford to be good, especially after his 30 goal season. Especially after his 30 goal season. They are banking on him to be good, that it blows my mind that he's not running for it. He's not fighting for it. It honestly blows my mind. This is everyone's childhood dream. I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but every single person, every single friend that I had or I have, their childhood dream was to play for either Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal. I do not know. But everyone had this childhood dream to play for this club. Nelson, thank you for liking me. I appreciate it. They had all these dreams to play for this team. And he has the opportunity. And he is, or Real Madrid, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Barcelona. You have the childhood dream. This is happening right now in your face. And you do not fight for the badge. It just looks like you're not fighting for it. I want you guys to remember how this boy fights for the Barcelona badge. Gavi. Gavi fights tooth and nail for that badge on his chest. Let me give you another example. Real Madrid, Nacho, the captain of Real Madrid, fights for the badge so much. He fights for the badge so much, it's mind-blowing. This is someone that has diabetes, if I'm not mistaken. Still running around, fighting for every single moment. Every single moment for Real Madrid. And then we have a Mancunian. We have a Mancunian that is born not too far from Manchester, from Old Trafford. And he's walking while Ross Barkley is literally doing Ring Around the Roses with him. That is mind blowing to me. That is mind blowing to me. Playing football, I've never been as good as Marcus Rashford. But they can tell you, even when I'm playing five-a-side, when I'm playing with the boys on Sunday, it gets so animated because I'm not as in the greatest fit, or I'm not in my greatest, like, this is not my greatest form when I'm coming to play football. So I can't play for 90 minutes. But the little 45, the little 55 minutes that I play, I'm running my behind off. And this is someone that is getting 350,000 pounds every week. 350,000 pounds every week. And doesn't run for the badge. That's ludicrous to me. That is something sacrilegious to me. That is absolutely should not be allowed in Manchester. It should not be allowed in Manchester. Because it's not allowed in City. So it absolutely should not be allowed in United. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. During my days of watching football when I was coming up, my pops used to always tell me this. AC Milan had the best culture. AC Milan had the best culture. I used to ask him, okay, why? Why? I'm not an AC Milan fan. But he used to always tell me AC Milan had the best culture. I was like, why? And he told me a story. He said, there was a time that in AC Milan it was in a contract for every player that signed for AC Milan that if you do not fight for each other on the field and off the field, you will get fined £20,000 for every incident. And I was like, nah, that can't be true. Until I did my research. And of course, they're not going to confirm it because, of course, those contracts are absolutely not something that you just publish. But everything sounded through. Everything sounded true. This is something that absolutely needs to be implemented in this new era. If you do not run, and it can be enforced because every player has a tracker that they wear either in the back or the front that maps out how far they run, how much they have covered of the field. That's where we get the stats from. You understand? That's where we get the stats from. There should be a benchmark that if you do not meet this benchmark, you are getting fined every game. If you do not meet this benchmark on running, that is the least you can do as a Manchester United player. That is the bloody list. That is a bloody list. Yeah, I know it could be crazy. It could be crazy, and I'm not saying that you should get fined 20,000. I'm saying there should be a fine. There should be a fine. Because in NFL football, the players hold themselves accountable. They hold themselves accountable. Even in soccer, they hold themselves accountable because everybody understands that you get fined if you come late to training, if you come late to meetings. Everybody understands that. But then why can't we implement the same thing for the games? I think we should. You track it. Everybody, if you do not meet at least, and now bear in mind, this might be a very low number, or this might be crazy high. If you do not run at least 7 kilometers in the game over 90 minutes, you should get fined. You should get fined. And yes, I understand that every team will fluctuate based on what your what do you call it? What your requirements are. But the fine should be controlled by the players, by the captain team, because there's always a team of captains. By the captain team. If you did not do your job, you get fined. And I'm fine with that. These players, majority of every single player in Manchester United is getting paid millions. He's getting paid millions. And we all absolutely need them to start fighting for every paycheck, like how we fight for every paycheck that we get. I don't know what you guys do for a living, but I fight every paycheck that I get. And with that, they need to start understanding. They need to understand that playing for Manchester United, playing for that badge, and playing for the fans that are paying their goddamn hard-earned money is a privilege and not a right. It's a privilege and not a right. And for Marcus Rashford, that is wearing the number 10 shirt that was previously worn by one of the greatest English players to walk this earth in Wayne Rooney, is sacrilegious. Let's go into the comments before we go on to the next thing. Ronaldo says, you thought on our forward, we don't have a squad depth. That's our problem. Just these injuries, we are back to using the players in different positions. I understand that, man. I understand that. But we need to, I'm just talking about basics at this point. I'm not going into tactics. I'm not going into how we can win the game. I'm going into basics. I'm going into basics of how we can absolutely win. Because Andres Perla, who was my favorite player ever, he said, if I'm not mistaken, I'm paraphrasing at this point, he says the game is as simple as the basics. The game is as simple as the basics. Toni Kroos, the best players or the most impactful players in every team, has always been the person that knows how to do the basics right. Name me a team that is being successful without that person. You look at Man City, you're talking about Rodri. You look at Barcelona of those age, of Messi age. Yes, Messi was the greatest player to walk the earth. But looking at that team, he had Xavi. Keep it simple. Keep it basic. Okay, Xavi left. Who next? Sergio Busquets. Greatest six to ever come to this earth. What did he do? Basic. He kept it simple. Look at AC Milan, Andres Pirlo. Look at Juventus, Andres Pirlo. Basics, nothing flashy. Look at Real Madrid, Toni Kroos. Guti. These are players that kept it simple. These are players that kept it simple. And that is why these teams have all the success in the world. Thank you, Ronaldo, for following, man. I appreciate you. These are teams. So when it comes to Manchester United, and yes, I know that we are having a lot of injuries, but at this point, you keep it simple. You pass the ball and you move. You pass the ball and you move. You keep the ball. When you know that your midfield, sorry, not even the midfield, your defense is so scared of stepping up because there's no Martinez, instead of you pushing that well, you sit and you control the ball because they can't score you without the ball. It's as simple as as a theory. It's as simple as a theory. It's as simple as a theory. Ronaldo says, and I think we need a new coach because Ten Hag tactics ain't working. I'm not there yet to say Ten Hag out. I'm not there. I'm usually never that kind of guy to say the coaches need to go. But I would say there's also coaching from the field. There's also coaching from the game. One of the reasons why I think LeBron James is the greatest basketball player to play to play basketball is because he doesn't just come into the game to score, to assist, and rebound. He also tells his team where to be. He also understands the game that his opponent is playing. In fact, sometimes to get into their heads, he tells the opponents where they are meant to be. Do you get? That is a coach. That is a leader. That's a captain in the field. That is a captain in the field. And that is something that needs to be done from the spine of the field. I was about to say from our captain, but our captain runs around so much that, of course, he doesn't even see a different perspective. So I said the spine because as a striker, as Rasmus Højlund, and he has been doing this really well. Rasmus Højlund is the trigger of the press. You angle, you come into an angle, so you can push the ball to that side. And then you push the ball to that side, it gets to the right fullback. And the right fullback, because he's on the line, and you have the line as an advantage because you've basically shrunk the field now. That's the trigger for the press. So because we do not have the pace of Martinez and we have the tortoise in Maguire, we can't push up. So what do we need to do? We need to sit in the mid block. I did not say sit in a low block because that is what the defense has been doing. The defense will sit in the low block, and then the attack and the midfield have gone out full on press. It happened so many times against Fulham. So many times against Fulham that honestly scared the life out of me. I've never been so stressed out watching Manchester United play football than I've been watching them this season. Envy, what's up, man? Welcome back, man. I've never been so stressed out watching Manchester United play football than I have been this season. And that is because the simple basics, the simple basic of saying, of someone in just shouting from the back line, don't press, sit, don't press. It's not right. We have to get to our spaces. We have to understand that if Casemiro pushes all the way forward, then Kobe Mainoo needs to support back. It's all about communication. And they have absolutely not been able to do it, which is honestly sad in my opinion. And that's why we are here, honestly. That's why we are where we are. That's why we are where we are. And that's the problem. And that's the problem. So now let's go into the next aspect of the preview. We are looking at Amad Diallo. Does he start against Nottingham Forest tomorrow? If Amad doesn't start, I fear to say this, but he might be leaving in the summer. If Amad Diallo, the best player to grace Sunderland last year, doesn't start for Manchester United tomorrow at the FA Cup, he might be leaving Manchester United. We already know that Pelestri is not staying at Manchester United. Now it's looking like Amad Diallo will not stay. It all depends on if Erik ten Hag starts playing him. And the key thing about it is Erik ten Hag needs to play him over Anthony Dos Santos. Because one of the reasons Jadon Sancho is not a Manchester United player right now is that he felt scorned by the fact that Anthony Dos Santos kept on playing over him. And he felt slighted. He felt slighted by that. And that's the problem. It was one of the problems. Now I understand that what he did was absolutely ludicrous and wrong. And I'm happy that he's in Dortmund right now because you do not do that to your manager. But Erik ten Hag also needs to take responsibilities and understand that for him to be a great manager, it has to do with meritocracy. Meritocracy. I think that's the word. It has to do with if you play better, you get to play the next game. There has to be a competition and there have to be a fairness to who wins the competition. And that has not been taking place with Anthony. That has not been taking place with Anthony. And that is something that he needs to absolutely check. Evie says, how is your night, bro? My night has been going good, man. I'm chatting with you guys. I'm having fun. Of course, talking about the game I love the most, the club I love the most. But unfortunately, I am stuffed. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I'm not feeling the greatest in terms of health-wise. I'm just coming back, and that's why you guys haven't seen me live in a long time. But yeah. We are doing well. Thanks for asking. I appreciate that. I hope you're doing well yourself. Ronaldo says exactly what I just said. He's favoring Anthony. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, but I understand why he is favoring Anthony because he's an 80+ player in terms of pounds, and Ahmad is not. And for right now, Ahmad can be seen as someone that is still coming back from injury, someone that just graduated from the loan system. So you can still do all those things. However, it's Anthony is not producing anything. And with that, you need to find something else. Envy says, can I join? I know I am a Barca fan for 21 years, but I want to ask about United. Yeah. Envy, yeah, you can join, man. Envy, you can join. What's up, Envy?
What do you think of the state that your club is in at the moment, and how do you think they can go forward and maybe getting a little bit success like this season and maybe actually get trophies next season?
I think we're in a transitional moment,
Yeah.
and I would say I'm not as scared as I once was, because before Sir Jim Ratcliffe's announcement, I was losing my mind because it just doesn't. It did not look like it was going anywhere. Um, his appointments that he has made so far have been really good, and so I felt like the appointment of Berrada, someone that came from Barcelona when Barcelona was the greatest club to grace the earth with the greatest player, um, to go into Man City and then forming what he formed in Man City to now becoming our CEO. I think that was a great start. Now, how do we get to taking trophies? Um, I think we have to clear out a lot of things. Um, the wage bill right now for Manchester United, I think, is the most expensive in the Premier League, uh, which is crazy because we are not anywhere into challenging for the league. So I think we need to clear out a lot of players. I think the rumors I've heard said that, and now this is just speculation, said that over 10 people are going to be out of Manchester, and they are going to bring 10 other people to replace. Now that's ludicrous in terms of bringing in 10 people, but I'm
Pretty
think,
amount.
yeah, I'm thinking, yeah, it's just crazy to think you're bringing 10 people in the summer. But I've seen Everton bring 6 people. I've seen um I've seen Nottingham Forest bring 12. So if you tell me that you have done a lot of scouting, which truly hasn't been because we do not have our director of football yet. So if you tell me that you have done your due diligence, and you make it a situation where these players are coming to fight for the badge, and I've always said this, and this might be harsh, but that is why I'm not a
Your
CEO.
voice is a bit out of sync. I can't really hear you that
Can you
well
hear me?
after you went paused and you came back.
Can you hear me now?
Not really. I don't know
Let's
what
see.
is happening.
Let's see. Maybe to catch up.
There you go. That's good.
That's better.
Yeah.
All right. So I've always been thinking about this idea. Now the idea comes from American football, right? American football has these things called incentive contracts. So they will guarantee your first 2 years, but then they will not guarantee the last two because the incentive is for you to be on the field playing a certain kind of football and playing in terms of productivity. So, in my mind, I'll say this. Now, the Players Association might not agree, but I say if you bring an incentive where the players that you're bringing in this summer, every single person has a 4 year contract. In that 4 year contract, you have 2 years of guaranteed money. You have 2 years of guaranteed money. And the second 2 years, half of that money, first, there's a clause that the club can terminate your contract right there and you need to go on free agency. And second, there is a clause that if you are not producing, you can get cuts from how much they pay you. They already do it when it comes to relegations. They already do it when it comes to you not qualifying for the Champions League. You understand? So in my mind, I'm saying we have to hold everybody's legs to the fire until they start understanding that that badge is absolutely more than anybody that walks through those doors. So that is a few solutions that I feel like will get them fighting a little bit more.
Also, one thing I'm like learned in terms of because I've been studying this, like our my club and the way La Liga is run.
Mhm.
It's in Premier League. I feel like even though it's factual, if you Google this, La Liga like historically has been way more superior than the Premier League, but the way Premier League is running their clubs, it is 2,000,000% better than how we run our club. And that is why, like clubs such as Man United, a club that, let's be truthful, have not won nothing, right? Chelsea, a club that have won absolutely nothing and in shambles for 2 seasons in a row. Last season they got 12. This season they are 12. So they pretty much stay the same. In 2 years, they can go and spend money like crazy. And that's one thing that I'm jealous about Premier League clubs compared to La Liga clubs because, for example, metaphorically speaking, if Barcelona this season we're gonna finish 12th, right? It will never happen, but I'm saying if it happens and they finish 12th, we next season we can sign uh, probably only a janitor, pretty much. Like that.
Yep.
That's how it works. It's horrible, but uh, like in Premier League clubs, the clubs cannot spend money that they have in their club. Then there's a lot of debt that needs to be followed in not Premier League, in La Liga. There's a lot of wage capacity limit that La Liga have that Premier League do not have, and it's like I feel like our president is doing an atrocious job in La Liga, and even though historically La Liga is way more superior in terms of trophies, finals appearance in the Champions League, final appearance in the Europa League, Ballon d'Or winners, all that, but Premier League clubs are running it so well. And like if Man United, let's say if it was in Spain instead of in England, they would Anthony would have never been able to join Man United at all because they don't have the weight capacity, and it's stupid. I really hate how it works.
Um, which it's understandable how it's a very frustrating thing. Um, which is sad. But first, let's not say Manchester United haven't won anything because we've won quite a bit. Um, but as far as what Barcelona and Real Madrid has won, I understand. Those are why those clubs are one of the biggest and one of the football attractions. Um, those are honestly the only two clubs that if I was playing for Manchester United, I would have my head turned a little bit. So I understand that fact. But now going into the finances of La Liga teams, a lot of Barcelona fans hate the the president of La Liga, um, but all he's doing, all his job is his job's description is make sure every team in La Liga is being run well. The president of Barcelona right now has always been a really good president for Barcelona. But of course, he left and gave it to a stupid idiot that bought Antoine Griezmann for that amount of money, that bought Coutinho for that amount of money. So there were a lot of bad deals, and of course, Messi was in was in an astronomical amount that nobody could have found a way to price Messi out of Barcelona if he did not have to be forced out. So the truth about it is Barcelona has done really bad on their books. Barcelona and Real Madrid, both when it comes to money, are quite equal in terms of the revenue they can produce. And there's a difference between investment, sorry, and revenue. So revenue basically means this is the money that the club has generated itself. And usually that is the benchmark for how much you can spend. Of course, the investment of the owners of the club still comes in. And that could be added into the revenue, but you can't spend more than a certain amount. Now, the problem with Manchester United, just to tie it back so you can understand a little bit, is Manchester United have or has the third highest revenue in all clubs in terms of how much they bring in from the TV rights to all these things. But they do not have any investment coming from their owners. So there's a certain amount that Manchester United can spend every summer, and it can't pass that amount because we do not have that additional cap that the likes um of Man City has. Do you get? So that's the kind of thing. And when we are talking about finances between Premier League and La Liga, it's really not that the Premier League teams have managed their teams better. It's that there's a lot of TV rights that are happening in the Premier League that is not happening in La Liga. So the Premier League have been able to market their league so much that the US is trying to get into showing the games. Different countries are vying for a chance to show the Premier League. Now, when it comes to La Liga, I understand that they have this international base, but the truth about it is, apart from Real Madrid and Barcelona, the teams that people want to watch drops astronomically. So there's a huge drop from, oh, we want to watch a classical, to, oh, Atletico Madrid and Atletico Bilbao are playing. Okay, you understand? So there's no the push for that rivalry, the push for the other rivalries are not there enough.
Regarding like the finances goes, if you win La Liga, let's say only La Liga, you get paid not 70, you get paid 40 million for winning domestic league, your league. In Premier League, if you win the Premier League, you win 108 million euros. It just shows what kind of a joke the president of the league is doing. And last season, we won two domestic trophies. We won the Super Copa, which is considered a domestic trophy, and we won our league. And we got only about, I believe, 70 to 80 million. And the president came and said that next season, Barcelona have a transfer gap of only 295 million they can spend. And Real Madrid got 350. And see, the gap is not crazy between Barca and Real Madrid. It's 70 75 million because but when you go to third, it is 106 million, which is Atletico Madrid. It's a joke. Like Premier League clubs, if they give it any gap of 100 million, they would just laugh at them. I'm pretty Chelsea doesn't even get that. They got 12 last season. They spent over 600 million in the transfer window.
In January.
It's
Ridiculous.
see, this is the type of stuff that I'm talking about. It's really it's so crazy that a team that can finish 12 can spend more than Real Madrid and Barcelona combined. You also got to remember Real Madrid bought Jude Bellingham for 100 million, and we bought Vitor Roque for 72 million.
Oh,
That is
okay.
172 million in two players for in Real Madrid and Barca have spent. Chelsea have spent 500 and they got 12. We won our league. Real Madrid got second. It's so crazy that
Um,
how
no,
the president is,
go ahead.
like, I have to say he's doing a terrible job in finances in terms of clubs in La Liga.
I think when it comes to the output of doing when it comes to finances, I think the books are just giving him what he needs to give the clubs for them to stay, for them to be able to register players. Um, I think the way he needs to do it, or let me just go into kind of talking about first winning the Premier League and winning La Liga. How much would you make? You said something about 40 or 400. 40. I think you said
40 million,
something
yeah.
about 40 for the winner of the La Liga, and 108 for the winner of the Premier League. Um, so it's, if you have you, okay, let me give you an example. The the NBA, right? The NBA is National Basketball Association.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is this is a conglomerate that is one of the biggest sports in the US. You understand? Um, and the WNBA, not to say La Liga is the WNBA. I'm just trying to give you an example of kind of what it is. The TV rights for the NBA, the bag in the TV right, the amount of money that is meant to be shared and it has been also allocated to who wins is so much. It's like 100 times more than the TV rights for WNBA. So when you win the Larry O'Brien Trophy, you get 100 times more than what the WNBA would get. So when it comes to how much the team wins or how much they get from winning the domestic trophies, it all has to do with the collection of the TV rights, the amount of money that has basically been going around the clubs, and also the competition. So
No,
that is basically piled together.
I'm not
So
gonna argue.
what I'm
I'm not
basically
trying to be
saying,
delusional. Say Premier League is not the most competitive league, but you also gotta know that the Premier League is not the league that it once was. Manchester City has turned the league into pretty much a farmers league. They've been, you could say, yeah, they've been losing their points by 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, but I'm not saying lose, sorry, winning the league for 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, but they are genuine. They, out of the last 6 years, they won it 5 times.
mhm,
This season they can win it 4 times in a row. It's like that's it shouldn't be that much of a gap between La Liga, because if you look at the internet, La Liga is the second most popular league in the whole world, right behind the Premier League. And yes, you're correct. Premier League does generate more money than La Liga. It's factual. Even in but in our prime, like let's say the Messi versus Ronaldo era, yes, La Liga was generating more money because of the two of the greatest players, one for Madrid, one for us, and but now, because those two giants are not here anymore, and it's like the league needs, the president needs to do something to bring more attraction to the league, not just promote two clubs. I know I'm part of that two club, but they need to do something to not only promote the two clubs but pretty much our entire league, because Brighton are getting more shouts than let's say Granada
Exactly.
in the Premier in La Liga. It's shambles. That's because of their president's fault. That's
See,
what I'm saying. That's why I
it's
always say
also
that this
so
president needs to go, and
so
it needs to
the
bring
president.
someone that can bring the low tier teams
Mhm.
in La Liga some more image, so they can showcase themselves a lot more.
And I 100% agree with that precedent. Like you need the most, you need as much as you can. It comes when it comes to eyes that are watching La Liga. I think the president did. He started this social media clause that every team in La Liga has to have a social media presence, and I thought that was a good start to what he was trying to do. I thought that was a good start to what he was trying to do. However, I think he still has a long way to go about it. He still has a long way. Sorry, guys, my phone was just about to die, so he still has a long way to go about it. So it's a situation now where I think what he needs to do, or the most part, or for the most part, what he needs to do is to find a way to get these teams firing on all cylinders. Now, there's something that happened with Getafe. I'm not going to mention his name because I don't want to get banned. But the arrival of that English starlet to Getafe increased the traffic. Did you get what I mean? It increased the traffic to Getafe's page more than the people that were leading La Liga at the time in Girona. Getafe, I think, was not even in the top 10, but had more clicks and had more eyes on them than Girona, that was the number one place in La Liga. So, of course, we know Kylian is coming to Real Madrid, and I know you do not like that.
No.
But the eyes of people are now going to start looking at Kylian. I am sad that Barcelona are not in a place to say, I am going to find my own star and bring him to Barcelona. Because if they do that, I
Well,
can
we are
assure you.
pretty linked with a bit some more stars, like Kvaratskhelia is rumored that we're gonna
But
buy him because
Kvaratskhelia is not Mbappe level star.
no, of course, but it's our links are pretty much one player that it's the most priority is Joshua Kimmich. It's been linked for a year now,
Uh-huh.
and they really wanna sign him, and he's not happy in Bayern, and he really liked Hansi Flick, and Hansi Flick is the biggest candidate. We are most likely gonna be signing as our next coach when Xavi resigns, like he said. And Kimmich is very interested in working with playing alongside Hansi Flick. And we have another player is obviously Kvaratskhelia, like I mentioned, and Rafael Leao.
See now, those when you're talking about players like that, the addition of all of them, that is what we are talking about, the competition when it comes to the Clasico, when it comes to La Liga getting the eyes back. Because, of course, when Messi left, he took his eyes to MLS. And there has been a spike in the amount of money and investment the MLS can provide for their fans. There have been a spike in people paying for Apple TV just to watch Messi play. And you understand, with that alone,
Yeah,
you get a lot of money from Apple going into the MLS because that player is there. So making it, making it, I think the president needs to make it in a way that he needs to get players to come to the La Liga. He needs to find a way to make La Liga as attractive as the Premier League. If that means opening up the spending gap a little bit, where
That
you
is
can
what I want
pay
out of that. I'll
you.
be honest.
Open,
Because
I'm not saying opening up the spending gap for the amount of money you can pay, because there are two ways, or there are three ways you can actually do it. You can open the spending gap in terms of wages. You can open the spending gap in terms of the outright fee that you send to the club. You can also open the spending gap in terms of the sign-on fee. So why is Kylian Mbappe okay in losing all the money that he was going to make if he signed one more year with PSG? Because he's going to make more than that in his sign-on fee. And you can't really control the sign-on fee because that's based on negotiations. Now, of course, you understand that Madrid have the money to give him that. He's going to be making, the moment he puts his pen on the paper and there's an ink of his name, he gets wired over 120 something million pounds. So when you open that avenue, right? When you open that avenue, players now not just looking at the La Liga as a place that they want to go, because a lot of players want to play for La Liga or for Barcelona or Real Madrid, especially players from Brazil. But you start opening it up to the amount of money you can get on your signing date, the amount of this you can get on that, the amount of this you can get on that. Now you're making it more lucrative for people to come, and the more stars that go there, the more money that's going to be put into La Liga.
yeah, of course. No, I 100% agree. And then even pretty much Barcelona last time when I saw that, my eyes was wide open. I was in shock because it's like saying that, oh, Barca is broke, they cannot buy players, they cannot buy. It's like so stupid. We generated over 800 million euros last season, and it cannot be shown because of the financial crisis that we are in and the debt we are in, and the super strict La Liga rules that have been sent on us and everyone in the league, which is a joke. If let's say if Barca was in Premier League and they spent not spent they made a revenue of 800 million like they did in La Liga last season, we could have easily bought Holland. Let's say if we wanted, like it's a joke. It all goes back to the president.
Well, the rules are there right now. In fact, even the Premier League, I think they had a meeting about 2 weeks ago to talk about FFP rules. They want to change the FFP rules because, of course, the FFP rules has kind of struck some teams this year, with Everton losing, well, now 7 points. So they were deducted 10 points first, and they took out three. So now they have seven, they deducted 7 points. Of course, we understand that Manchester City is facing over 115 charges. We have Chelsea facing their own charges too. So the Premier League has also really strict rules about it. It's just that I think the Premier League has also been able to figure out ways where they go past those rules. Now it's coming to bite a lot of them in their on their behinds, but I
It's a
think
bit controversial what I'm about to say, but I feel
yeah.
like they're not gonna do anything regarding that because the biggest club currently in the Premier League that brings the most views is Man City. And let's say if they do something regarding their FFP and the charges that they're facing, let's say if all of them happens and they get relegated to championship, and much less. I know Man City doesn't have that much of a fan base. I'm talking about real fan base, like the United stand that the United app or the Arsenal TV show that they hosted on their YouTube, which that with that guy, I forgot his name. And yeah, but Man City, like it or not, like if any like rival fans like it or not, but they generate the most viewership
Well,
in the
Man City doesn't have the most views or viewers. They have the best football. And their basically their growth now has becoming or is becoming the biggest. But when it comes to the viewers of people that want to watch the team, it still has to do with the big four. And Man City were not in the big four at when they had when it comes to people
I
coming to
hundred
watch the
percent agree.
Premier League.
No matter what titles they win, they are not really all that attractive because their post that they won the treble, they posted it on Twitter and they
Exactly.
said treble winners. They got only, which is I'm not saying they're shit numbers, but it was 200,000 likes.
No, it's crap numbers compared to the
100,000, not 100,000, 1,100 comments and only 65 retweets. Those are the engagement. And then yesterday's Carabao Cup of Liverpool, which is pretty much, let's be honest, an energy drink. It got 600,000 likes. It got 20,000 comments. You can pick yourself. It
yeah.
got 20,000 comments and 1,000 retweets, which is a lot better engagement Twitter wise on.
But that is to show you, though, that is to show you that Man City, yes, have the greatest team assembled when it comes to playing in the Premier League. But because Man City do not have the international fan base, do not even have the local fan base, you get, because of the history of the club. Now they are creating history as we speak. You understand? They're creating history as we speak. And in 20 years' time,
They're gonna be the future like legends, like how we have. Remember the back then Iniesta, Xavi,
exactly, they
Kevin
are
De Bruyne is gonna be that person for Man
yeah,
City in the
they
future.
are creating they are creating their history now. And 20 years from now, we God bless us that we are alive to see it. We will be if they are still going on this domination, which I absolutely believe is going to end the moment Pep Guardiola leaves. If they keep on going on this domination, then we are looking at a juggernaut in the future. But for right now, I still think Man City, yes, they had treble winners. Yes, they have dominated the Premier League for 5 years, 7 years, but they still do not have the biggest pool. Manchester United are still the most talked about topic. They are still the most watched. They are still the most scrutinized. They are still.
I'm not a Premier League fan, obviously,
My
but
God, I can't even tell you. See,
people
if
talking more about United losing than Man City
the
winning.
Manchester winning, see, the whole Premier League shuts down when Manchester United play. I'm telling you this. You can go watch it this weekend. We are going to be playing Manchester City, right? Manchester United is going to be playing Manchester City. I am dreading making a preview to that video. But I can tell you for a fact, if Manchester United lose, knock on wood, right? If we lose, instead of them to be talking about how Man City is so great and have dominated the Premier League and dominated their rivals, they're going to be talking about how Eric Ten Hag might be getting sacked, how Manchester City has fallen down, how
I've seen it everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Because the moment you put that badge that is behind me on anything, it gets clicked up every time. Every time. So we have a long way to go in terms of Manchester United, but when it comes to a literal sleeping giant, that is what that devil with a fork is. Because um, the moment Manchester United starts winning things, I can tell you for a fact the Premier League is about to blow up when it comes to the money. It's about to blow up when it comes to every single thing because the investment and the likes, the people, the eyes are just going to keep flooding. And you will see a lot of people flip from that bloody sky blue to this beautiful red. I'm telling you, it's
I'll be
going to
honest.
happen.
I like Pep. Obviously, he's my best. Well, he's our best manager ever. I'm talking about our. I'm talking about my club.
Yeah.
Like he's our best coach ever. But in City, like I love him. Like before I say what I'm about to say, I love him a lot. He's other than Luis Enrique, he is the guy for Barca. He's a Catalonian. He won the Champions League as a player and as a manager for
Yep.
us. Insane player. But the first 2 years in Man City when he came, he got fourth his first season. He got third his next season. He spent 400 million, and then he got second, and then he spent another 200 million. That's 600 million spent, and then he won the league. Which obviously he got the player he needed. Not Chelsea did that. Uh, a lot of Chelsea did. Arsenal also did that. A lot of big clubs have done that. They didn't win the league. Obviously, Pep also did exactly the same, but he got the players he wanted,
Yeah.
which win the league. And now, every season, last season they spent 100 million on. No, 2 seasons ago they spent 100 million on Jack Grealish. They were trying to get Messi, but Messi went to Paris Saint Germain and they just shambles. So they went for another player, Jack Grealish, and he flopped the season after that. He was sensational for Man City. He was very good compared to his first season. He was still not $100 million player, 100 million euros player, like
Nope.
playing wise,
Nope.
but he did pretty well for his second
Yep.
season.
He did.
And then they bought Julian Alvarez. The
Mm-hmm.
next season they bought Erling Haaland. The
Mm-hmm.
season after that. And then this season they bought Jeremiah Doku for 72 million. Every season they spend over 100 million.
Yep.
And I feel like, and you said that the after Pep they could flop and they could not dominate as hard. I To be honest, I don't know. Let's metaphorically speaking, I know there is links of Bayern and Liverpool getting Xavi Alonso, and let's say if Xavi Alonso decides to stay and until 2025,
Mm-hmm.
that's when Pep's contract expires, because Pep usually have a personality that when he wins everything, he leaves.
Yep.
He was in Barca. He won the La Liga. He won over 11, no, 13
He
trophies in
did the
4 years.
treble
And
and
every
left.
manager in their rightful mind, when they won in 4 years, they won 13 titles, they stayed. But Pep left. He went for a new challenge in Bayern. He won the league for 2 seasons in a row. He dominated. He won 6 trophies in Germany.
Didn't win the
He
Champions
failed the
League though.
Champions League, but he left. And now in Man City, he won everything. People are comparing the City team to Barca, which is very, very stupid.
Yeah.
That Barca team will demolish the City team. Let's be truthful.
I believe so.
Iniesta is nothing compared to Kevin De Bruyne. And Xavi is nothing compared to Phil Foden, because Foden sometimes plays a midfielder. It's a joke. Messi is nothing compared to Bernardo Silva, and Holland is nothing compared to again Messi, because Messi was the number 9, and Thierry Henry. Come on,
No,
it's
I hundred.
nothing compared to Jack Grealish. He's stupid. That
It's
conversation
not
should stop.
it's not an argument when it comes to the Barcelona side. I thought that was the greatest side ever assembled when it comes to
Exactly.
football.
With that being said, what I was trying to get at, I feel like, metaphorically speaking, again, if Alonso decides to stay in Bayern Leverkusen, because it is very likely he's winning the league, which is the
Mhm.
first ever Bundesliga title in the history of Bayern Leverkusen ever. It's gonna be their first ever trophy, which is insane.
They
And
should build a
he
statue.
gets so happy he stays, and until 2025, and then Pep leaves, and Xavi Alonso comes to the City team, and the Qatari money that is behind a very very good coach, I feel like the domination of Manchester City, as much as I hate to say it, I know you're a United fan and City's biggest rival, it will not end. It will be even worse because Alonso is young. He's not. He doesn't have the CV of Pep,
Nope.
which he won the Sextuple in Barca, Bayern, and then went to City. He has so much room to improve. We're talking about if he goes from Leverkusen to City, and he probably would have like never won the Champions League because Leverkusen is not winning it. Let's be honest. And he goes to City. He's gonna be like, okay, I won the Bundesliga in Germany. I never won the Champions League. I want to win the Prem. I want to dominate. And yeah, it's I don't. Yeah, City's still gonna be probably the next. If that happens, the next 20 years combined, Pep and Xavi Alonso, they're gonna be City's still gonna be dominating, which is suck for United fans
I don't
or
think
Liverpool or whatever.
I don't think Xavi Alonso is anything close to Pep Guardiola.
No, I don't. I don't think so.
And
I don't
and
think so
and
either.
when I say this, right, I understand his success with Bayer Leverkusen has been so I don't know what the word. It's been so astonishing to watch this man work with Bayer Leverkusen. But I want you to also understand, Eric Ten Hag with Ajax. Ugh.
No, I totally agree, but you also gotta remember
No.
that Xavi Alonso, obviously, this is the first season and he's dominating.
I
They spent
understand.
only 3 million in the transfer window.
I understand. No, what Xavi Alonso has been able to do, he has. This is some. When you're talking about succeeding with your two hands tied behind your back, that is what he has been able to do.
And
But
also expectations, he completely overachieved. The expectation of
the expectation was just
going to
stay
this
up.
season was just to try to get top six,
Yep.
and they have broken Bayern Munich record that was set in 2013, which is being the most undefeated in 32 games.
Winning
Now
run.
Bayern
Yeah.
Leverkusen is undefeated in 33, which the record is broken. They are undefeated in the Europa League, undefeated in the league, undefeated in the German Super Cup, undefeated in the like pretty much undefeated club, which is
Yeah.
like they're invincible like everywhere, not
No,
just like
I
Arsenal when they're
understand.
invincible
I
season.
understand. I
They were
understand what it
invincible
is.
in Premier League, but they were not invincible everywhere.
No,
And
I understand what it is, but what I'm trying to
Leverkusen is
say,
undefeated everywhere, which is crazy.
what I'm trying to say, it is crazy. He's having a ridiculous season. In fact, if he wins the Bundesliga, he should better get Manager of the Year. And it should not go to Pep. But this is what I'm trying to say here, right? I'm trying to say that the domination of another league and you leaving the league and coming to another league, there is a possibility and there's a probability of you not doing the same thing. And of course, in the transition, meaning you have to find the players, you have to get your players right, you have to, all those things, your new players need to have to, because Leverkusen plays nothing like Pep. Absolutely nothing. I, if you guys want me to make a video about that, I would. But they play, their type of football is so free flowing, so attacking, so risk averted that it is scary to watch. It is scary in the sense that if they get caught, if if someone makes a mistake and they get caught, you can beat their press with good players, because let me not say it's easy, because it's not, because nobody has been able to beat it this season. But I'm just saying, with the likes of
But you
Arsenal.
also gotta remember that Xavi Alonso does not have the players that he like wants in every position. Uh, uh, Compared to Pep Guardiola, who have actually the player he wants in every single position, and if he doesn't have the player he wants in that position, he'll just buy it. And like Xavi Alonso have not done that because like
They don't have
yes,
the
he
money
came to
for
the
it.
team. He only got uh, um, Xhaka. He got Xhaka. He got the striker from not striker, the midfielder from Bayern Leverkusen as a loan, and the only player they bought was Xhaka from Arsenal, and it was pretty much the same team that they got 17th last season, almost 17th. They almost got relegated. They survived. It's that same exact team plus Xhaka, and they're winning the league.
Yeah, it all
In
has
my
to do with
opinion, I feel
coaching.
like it's scary if Xavi gets the players he wants. I feel like he is going to be the next player. I know he's like a Madrid legend, and I shouldn't say that, but I'm an honest speaker, man. I gotta have to say this, and I
Ah,
feel
makes
like with the
sense.
players
Makes
that
sense.
if, like he gets and the team that have his back financially, I mean, and the fans that have his back when if he does bad, with a clean mindset like Pep is having in City, I feel like he could be the next Pep Guardiola. I'll be honest.
I agree with you. I think he has all the abilities to get and to be better. When I'm talking about I'm talking about Xavi Alonso. But I also feel like there are so many things that could happen. You give him like some coaches understand or know how to coach when their players or when he's pigeonholed in this particular box. I'll give you an example. Um, what's his name? Graham Potter for Brighton. My word, was he a good coach?
Yeah, he was.
He is such a good coach,
That's
but
a good
because
example.
no, listen to what I'm trying to say. Um, Graham Potter was in Brighton, did not have the check that Chelsea did not have the players that Chelsea do. He understood these players. I can cultivate them from scratch to learn how to play my way. Now, going into a big team, you are literally, it's just like what Mourinho said. You can't teach these world class players. You can't teach these world class players how to play football. All you need to be able to do is manage them and put them in the right positions to succeed.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing about coaching and managing. It's the hardest thing. Because these days, clubs do not give you all the power to say, if you do not do it my way, I'm a kick your ass out. Pep Guardiola is the only person in world football. Pep Guardiola and Klopp is the only person in world football that if they say you are not playing for us anymore, you pack your bags. You are never playing for that team again. That is that is to tell you how different it is nowadays. That's why I'm saying if Xavi Alonso comes into Man City, which he's not going to because he's either going to Liverpool or Bayern.
Yeah, man. It's metaphorically speaking.
Yeah, metaphorically speaking.
Your voice again went out of sync.
Yeah, it's the pause thing is gonna kind of come back. Just
It's
give me
back
one
now.
second. Okay.
Go on.
So I think, yeah, metaphorically speaking, but of course we have to understand that we need to speak in present day. We need to speak. We understand what the situation is, and I'm happy that he's not going there. Now I'm also very angry that he might be going to Liverpool, which pisses me off because he is just the right man, in my opinion, to replace Jurgen Klopp because Xavi Alonso is not a divider; he's a uniter, and that is Johan Klopp. There was a video that I watched of Frimpong going off. He was just going off at the referee at the end of the game, and Xavi. No, Xhaka went to him and touched his hand to be like, come on, let's go. And he pushed Xhaka away. The moment Xavi touched him and say, go back, bruh, it's like, have you ever, when your mom walks into the room when you're doing something wrong, like, you understand? You know that kind of feeling where it's like, ooh, shoot, or like you're playing in the house and your mom is coming back from work and you hear the door open. How you basically just find a way to do something. That is how he has cultivated that team. And it also shows that because he was fighting, he was so livid with the referees just as much as Frimpong was. Now, was he saying the same thing that Frimpong was saying? I do not believe that. But the idea is Frimpong looking at the manager and seeing that the manager is ready to fight for him unites the team. Now, that is something that he will bring to Liverpool. I am sad to say it, but I think he's going to choose Liverpool. He's not going to stay in Leverkusen because I think he has been in Leverkusen for 1 year. If he wins the league, I think there are two things that may happen. He might say, oh, let's test ourselves in the Champions League. But that might not go right. And Liverpool doesn't come knocking twice. Real Madrid don't come knocking twice. Bayern doesn't come knocking twice. And let's say you, metaphorically speaking, start doing badly next season. You have lost that job for life. So I feel in this position.
That's the scary thing about managers because managers are not players, and the manager's spark doesn't like. If it's not Pep Guardiola, manager's spark doesn't happen every single season.
No. The truth about it is,
call one manager like even us Barca fans. This is a perfect example. When the season Xavi won the league, which we only considered 20 goals, which was sensational. Including me, I was saying, "Oh, Xavi is the guy. Gonna be bringing the Champions League back to Catalonia," and because we had so much hope, like. And then the season after that, it's not super delusional saying we could have won the league because not the league, sorry, the Champions League because the way we were playing last season, and if we continued that same way this season, we could have went far in the Champions League. But like you mentioned, that's what manager is. The shift has turned a complete 180, and everybody's saying Shaq Xavi, we don't want him anymore. He's ruining the culture of Barca. And then the pressure got to him, and then he came to the media and said, "I'm gonna be resigning as a coach." And yes, right. To be honest, ever since we did that, we've been playing very, very good. But we have never lost a game. And we got 2 draws and 1-4-0. We won every game after he said that, but that is off topic speaking. But
no, it's okay. It's okay.
So I completely agree with what you said. It's true that that's what manager is. You get praised if you do amazing, and you get bashed and get threatened by the fans to be sacked if you do bad.
Yep.
So I completely agree.
And the thing about doing bad as a manager, it doesn't go away. Doing bad as a manager, it sticks with you. It's like, yes, if you're a serial winner like Mourinho, you're always going to find a job because everybody feels like you can give them a title, you can give them something, and he has basically shown everywhere he has gone except from Tottenham. Even at Tottenham, he was going to give them something, and they stupidly fired him the day before the goddamn final. Stupid. So, what I'm basically saying is, and just to kind of touch on Xavi, the reason why Xavi is going to resign, it's not just because of the fans. It's because Xavi left Barcelona a legend. And he has come back instead of him to be greeted because he gave them another La Liga title. He is now being seen as a villain. And it doesn't sit well with him whatsoever. So he rather leave than continue to go down this road because it's going to be hard for Barcelona to fire Xavi. You understand? It's like, let's say, Ronaldo. Okay, now let me not use Ronaldo. Let me say Zidane. Exactly. Oh, that's perfect. Let's say Zidane still coaching Real Madrid, and Zidane is not doing the greatest. It is going to be a tough blow for Real Madrid to swallow to fire one of the greatest players to wear the number 5 jersey in that royal white. It is hard. So it's better that he leaves while he's still on top, because now he has the opportunity to go further in the Champions League. He has the opportunity to fight for the league, even though I know he probably is not going to win it. But the idea is he has gotten you a league title, and he has fought as hard as he could, and now he's going to pack his bags and go and enjoy his wife. So simple as that. So I think that's the reason why he's going to leave. Um, so now to go back to Javi, um, I think he has to take it, because just like just like what Wayne Rooney did. So when Wayne Rooney was in Derby County, did really well with all the injuries, all the sacking of players, all the players not being able to get their money, not getting their pay, all those things happened, and people were like, "Did this man, with all these things, take them to stay up in the league?" And they offered him a lot of jobs, and in his mind, he was like, "No, I'm still gonna sit here and try and do more." And of course, this next season went bad, and they fired him. And where did he go? All those offers that was coming from the Premier League dried up, and he went to the MLS. And then now he left the MLS and he came back to England, and he got fired again. So that's what I'm trying to say. I'm saying, while you have to strike while the rod is hot, you are being touted to be the next Liverpool manager, and I do not like Liverpool whatsoever. But the fact that you can be the next person in the Mount Rushmore of Kenny Dalglish, Rafa Benitez, and you put your face next to that, that is amazing. That's an opportunity that can only come once. So I think he's going to take it. So boo hoo, Man City. I do not care. Um, I think he's going to take it. The only thing I'm going to be shocked about, I think, we are going to be seeing in 2025, or by the end of 2024, we are going to be seeing Man City prepare for their successor. And that is going to be the hardest thing for Man City. But they have proven that they're able to succeed, to do a succession plan that worked pretty well. From Mancini to Pellegrini, from Pellegrini to Pep Guardiola, all successions, all successful successions. What's up, Rich? How you doing? So I am I'm just a little concerned about that, but anybody is worse than Pep Guardiola. I do not want Pep Guardiola to remain a Manchester City manager. I think his due his what do they call that thing where you go away for a holiday? Not gardening leave, but sabbatical. Yes, sabbatical. But I think is his due that. His due that. Anyway, let me just go into real quick. I want to talk about the starting 11 for Manchester United versus Nottingham Forest. This is going to be a very, very chop and change starting 11, to say the least. So for me, it's going to be Andre Onana. Um, Andre Onana. Ah, man, thank you, man. Thank you, MV. Make sure you guys absolutely drop a like for MV, man. Drop a like for MV. MV is absolutely a legend. Rich says, not too great. Every time I hear Man United, my head aches. It is no lies. Where is the lies? Say, hey, much love, my man. Much love, Envy. Make sure you come back, man. It's always good to talk to you. So the starting 11 for Manchester United against Nottingham Forest. Now, bear in mind, this is going to be a chop and change situation. So we're going to be looking at Andre Onana at goal because he just never changes the goalkeeper at the this kinds of games. We're going to go with Varane and Jones for the centre back position. We're going to go with Diego Dalot and Lindelof for the right back and left back position. And in the middle, we're going to go with Casemiro and Kobe Menu. And from Casemiro to Kobe Menu in the front, we are going to be looking at. I feel like there might be a change in the attacking midfield role. I feel he might put Amad Diallo in the attacking role, attacking mid. And for the left wing, I think he's going to go with Marcus Rashford. For the right, he's going to go with either Garnacho or Anthony. Um, and then for the center, oh no, get this right. He's going to go with Garnacho on the left, Anthony on the right, and Rashford in the middle to start against Nottingham Forest. Let me know what you guys think about that. So it's Andre Onana, Rafael Varane, Johnny Evans, Diego Dalot, Victor Lindelof, Casemiro, Kobe Mino. Is going to be Amad Diallo in the attacking role, in attacking midfield. It's going to be in the left hand side is going to be Alejandro Garnacho, and the right is going to be Anthony Dos Santos, and in the middle is going to be Marcus Classy Rashford. Let's hear from Rich. What does Rich have to say? No play Onana in the defense. And let bro, you funny man. This guy just says Andre Onana should be in the defense. Why they should let Arthur Ben Yedder go and go. Anyway, for YouTube right here, that is going to be my final word. That is going to be my final 11. I think we are going to win the game 2-1 because, of course, we're going to get more opportunities, or we're going to give them as much opportunities as they want, sadly. But yeah, that is what is going to happen in that end. So make sure you guys like, make sure you guys subscribe, and make sure you guys comment down below what you think and if you like this format. Let's go, YouTube. Take care.